Across the African continent, governments rise and fall through elections, constitutions are signed, speeches are delivered, promises are made. But many Africans ask a deeper question: who really holds power? Is it the president standing at the podium? Or forces operating quietly behind the scenes? These forces are often called shadow governments. Networks of influence that shape policy, control resources, and direct national outcomes without public accountability. This is not fiction. This is not a movie. This is modern African geopolitics. What is a shadow government? A shadow government does not mean a secret room full of villains. In reality, it is far more subtle. A shadow government is any unelected power structure that exerts decisive influence over a nation's political, economic, or security decisions. These can include economic elites, foreign interests, military networks, intelligence agencies, multinational corporations, financial institutions, political kingmakers, former leaders operating behind the curtain. They do not appear on ballots. They are not accountable to citizens, yet their decisions affect millions. To understand shadow governments in Africa, we must begin with history. Colonialism did not end with independence. When colonial flags came down, colonial systems remained: extractive economies, foreign-controlled currencies, external debt structures, military dependence, elite political grooming. Many African states inherited governments designed not to serve citizens, but to extract value. This created a permanent opening for shadow power to thrive. One of the most powerful shadow forces in Africa is economic control. Natural resources, oil, gold, cobalt, diamonds, uranium, are worth trillions. Yet in many countries, profits leave the continent. Contracts are negotiated behind closed doors. Corporations influence laws and leadership. When governments attempt reform, pressure follows: currency instability, capital flight, sanctions, loan restrictions. Debt becomes a leash. Aid becomes leverage. Policy becomes negotiable. In these moments, elected leaders often answer not to voters, but to creditors. The role of foreign influence. Foreign governments do not need armies to control outcomes. They use trade agreements, military cooperation, intelligence partnerships, development aid, diplomatic pressure. African leaders are often forced to balance national interest against foreign expectations. When leaders resist, instability follows. When leaders comply, stability is rewarded. This is not coincidence. This is strategy. In some African nations, real power flows through the military and intelligence services. Presidents may change, but generals remain. Security chiefs remain. Intelligence networks remain. These institutions often act as state guardians, deciding who governs and who does not. They emerge from years of quiet preparation. Sometimes the shadow government wears a uniform. Shadow governments are not always foreign. In many African countries, local elites hold enormous influence: business tycoons, traditional power brokers, political financiers, media owners. They fund campaigns. They control narratives. They decide who is acceptable. Democracy becomes a performance, while power circulates within a closed circle: media and narrative control. Information is power. Who owns the media? Who sets the headlines? Who decides what is discussed, and what is silenced? In many cases, corruption stories disappear. Reformers are labeled unstable. Critics are delegitimized. Public perception is shaped carefully. When citizens are confused, divided, or distracted, shadow power grows stronger. Are all shadow governments evil? Not always. Some shadow networks maintain stability. Some prevent chaos. Some fill gaps where institutions are weak. But the danger lies in lack of accountability. When power operates in darkness, corruption flourishes. When citizens are excluded, trust collapses. No society thrives when truth is hidden. The cost to Africans. Shadow governments cost Africa economic independence, political accountability, youth opportunity, innovation, sovereignty. They fuel migration crises, protest movements, political apathy, cycles of instability. When people feel powerless, nations stagnate. But something is changing. Across Africa, citizens are questioning narratives. Youth are demanding transparency. Journalists are exposing hidden deals. Digital media is breaking old monopolies. Awareness is the enemy of shadow power. The more people understand how systems work, the harder it becomes to rule invisibly. Shadow governments survive on silence. They weaken when citizens ask, who benefits? Who decides? Who profits? Africa's future does not belong to hidden hands. It belongs to informed, courageous, united people. And the first step toward freedom is seeing the shadows clearly.